Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen someone wasting potential? Laziness isn't just about being tired. It's a silent killer of dreams, of identity, of purpose. This is the story of a boy who almost wasted his life in comfort until one choice changed everything. If you've ever felt stuck, keep watching, because maybe this story is yours too. Ethan Barnes was 22, but life had already slowed to a crawl. No job, no college, no plans. Days blurred together, waking up past noon, grabbing junk food, sitting on the couch with a controller in hand, gaming until 3 a.m. Repeat. He wasn't stupid. In fact, people once called him gifted. But talent fades when it's never used, and Ethan's fire had been buried under layers of comfort and excuses. He lived with his mother, Linda, a nurse who'd raised him alone. She never yelled, never forced. But every night, after working 2 exhausting shifts, she'd come home, look at her son, and say nothing. Her silence hurt more than any words could. One evening, Ethan returned from a late-night snack run and noticed a folded note on his desk, his mother's handwriting. "If you don't move, the world moves on without you. One day you'll look up and it'll be too late." He read it twice, felt a twinge, then tossed it aside like every other warning he'd ignored. But she hadn't given up yet. A few mornings later, she handed him an envelope. Inside, a registration slip for a brutal 30-day program called Forge the Fire, a military-style survival and discipline camp known for breaking down the lazy and rebuilding them. "You're going," she said. Ethan laughed. "I'm not a soldier." "No," she replied, "but you're not living either." And just like that, her decision was final. Forge the Fire was exactly what it sounded like. Grueling, cold, cruel, and real. Phones were taken away, comforts stripped, names replaced with numbers. Ethan was now Candidate 27. He shared the camp with 20 other misfits, some angry, some silent, most lost. Every morning began at 4 a.m. with an air horn. No matter the weather, they ran through forests, crawled through mud, lifted sandbags, climbed ropes. They weren't training bodies, they were stripping down egos. By day 3, Ethan wanted to quit. His arms shook. His feet bled, his stomach growled. He began to wonder if he truly was as weak as life had made him feel. But that night, something stopped him. As he searched through his bag for socks, he found a photo tucked between his shirts. It was him, aged 10, smiling beside his mother, holding a science fair ribbon. He stared at it for 10 minutes. That kid wasn't lazy. He had dreams, curiosity, fire. What happened to him? Ethan wiped his face and whispered to himself, "Just one more day. I owe him that." One more day turned into one more week. He began waking before the horn, volunteered to help others, carried logs twice his size, failed, tried again, failed better. He wasn't the strongest, but he showed something few others did: heart. By day 21, fewer than half the candidates remained. One afternoon during a steep hill climb, another trainee, Marcus, collapsed with a sprained ankle. Others hesitated. Ethan walked over, dropped his backpack, and said, "You're not getting left behind." He carried Marcus for 2 miles. The instructors noticed, but more importantly, Ethan noticed. For the first time in years, he respected himself. On the final day, the last 5 remaining candidates completed a blindfolded wilderness challenge. Relying only on each other's voices, they navigated cliffs, rivers, and dense forests. When the blindfold was finally removed at the summit, Ethan stood overlooking the valley, the sun rising behind him. An instructor stepped forward. "Candidate 27, you are Ethan Barnes again, but not the one who arrived." Ethan returned home, not with medals, but with something deeper: discipline, pride, self-respect. His mother opened the door. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she smiled. "I've been waiting to meet this version of you." That night, Ethan didn't touch the controller. He cleaned his room, made dinner, and before going to bed, he looked in the mirror, not to criticize, but to recognize. The next morning, he woke up at 5:30 a.m. No alarm. He jogged, showered, applied for apprenticeships. A week later, he got hired by a logistics company. It wasn't glamorous, but it was earned, and that mattered more than anything. A year later, Ethan stood before a group of new Forge the Fire recruits and said, "Laziness isn't your enemy. Your comfort is. The more you avoid discomfort, the more you bury your potential. Don't wait for someone to rescue you. Prove yourself. Not to the world, but to the version of you who still believes you're capable of more." Moral of the story: laziness isn't tiredness. It's fear hiding behind comfort. And the only way to kill it is to move forward even when it hurts. You don't need motivation, you need movement. Prove yourself, not for others, but because you owe it to who you were born to become.